watching Nicole on your TV, like for years we've been trying to figure out how to beat the Warriors. And I now know it's an inside job.
Yeah, definitely best way to trip them up, right? A little Splash Brother on Splash Brother crime last night at the Crossroads of America. To Indianapolis we go.
Kaylee's moving the other way. I don't like it.
Let's do it. We got the Warriors, we got the Pacers. Game number 2 for the Pacers without Victor Oladipo. We're going to focus on the positive, and there was a lot from Steph Curry. Needs 3 more three-pointers to reach 200 for the season, something he's done in 6 straight seasons. He didn't waste any time. That from Boogie Cousins, and then Boogie going to miss that. But watch Curry. We give him the family circus treatment. We throw a little path behind him. That's how much ground he covers, how much work he does to knock down a 3. 23 points in the first half for Steph. How about that for a heat check? And there it is, his 200th made 3 of the season, making him the first player in NBA history with 7 straight seasons of 200 or more threes. Steve Kerr said he's got a skill set you can't really fathom. He's always 1 shot from getting on fire. There it is. Just before halftime to beat the buzzer, he was 6 of 8 from 3 in the first half. He had 26 points to lead all scorers. Wasn't all good for Curry, though, on this 11-game win streak. And remember that? January 21st. Trying to dunk, and then he actually airballed a 3. So how do I make a bad situation worse? Well, you got the slip and fall, and then the airball 3 from one of, if not the best three-point shooter in NBA history. So back to last night. Klay Thompson throwing down. That's how you dunk. And even on other people's dunks, Steph at the top of your screen can't stay on his feet.
Inside job.
What are you doing?
You take him down that way.
He tripped himself, or there was a wardrobe malfunction. There was an issue. Here's Steph after the game.
Say you started an earthquake situation or something. I succumbed to it on the side.
You lived in Indianapolis. You ever have an earthquake in Indianapolis?
Actually, yes.
Well, that ruins my narrative.
It did.
There's DeMarcus Cousins inside against Domantas Sabonis, who actually, before he went to bed last night, Sabonis looked for Boogie under the bed. I mean, he was a monster on Sabonis. 22 points for Cousins, 6 rebounds, 4 assists.
Oh, look at her face.
How about that? Steph signed some shoes, gave them to that young fan, and she cannot deal right now. She just can't. 132-100, win number 11 in a row for the Dubs. Curry, more than 200 made threes this season for the 7th straight season, the longest streak in NBA history. Needed just 39 games to get there. He's the first player in NBA history to make his first 200 threes in a season in fewer than 40 games. He's averaging 5.4 threes per game this season. That's on pace to break his own NBA record. 11 straight wins for the Dubs and Steve Kerr.
We've been more dialed in the last month than we have for sure all season, and for much of last season even. You can just see, that the turnovers are down. We're just more conscientious as a group, and guys are moving the ball. 39 assists tonight, so we're in a good groove. We're in a good place, but got to keep it going.
Yeah, a good groove, a good place. We go by the numbers on the Dubs, who are back to their dominant selves here. They're averaging 128.9 points per game during this 11-game streak, the 5th most in NBA history during a double-digit win streak. 5-game road trip, 5-0. It's the 3rd time they've gone 5-0 or better on a road trip over the last 5 seasons. All other teams have done it just once. And overall, they've won 10 straight road games, scoring at least 110 points each time. 3rd team in NBA history to do it, the 71-72 Lakers, who were a wagon, and the 60-61 Celtics, and they both won the title.
Anthony Davis is signed through the end of next season. He can't hit the free agent market until the summer of 2020. If he were to re-sign with the Pelicans, he could sign a 5-year deal worth about $239 million as soon as this coming off season. But by demanding a trade, he's willing to sacrifice anywhere between $7 and $10 million a season on his next deal. The Woj bomb here in person. After dropping that news on us yesterday morning, we got him here. The Pelicans have had now, 24 hours to sort of process the fact that their guy wants out of New Orleans. The trade deadline is February the 7th. What's the plan?
The plan now is to wait for a team to blow them away with an offer prior to that February 7th trade deadline next Thursday, or they'll just hold on to him into the spring, into pre-draft, and and maybe even till July. They would like to have the Celtics in the bidding to raise all the other offers or to maybe take potentially a Celtics offer. They can't have the Celtics in that conversation till later in the spring. So right now, if somebody gives them an absolute no-brainer, they're going to look at it. Otherwise, they're not in a rush to do this.
Whatever the Lakers do offer, and the Lakers are certainly interested, it's going to be there in July, right? So why not pit Los Angeles against Boston? So it has to be a two-way street. Lakers are interested. How about Davis's level of interest in the Lakers?
No, it's his level of interest is significant. That was part of the reason to ask for this trade, prior to the trade deadline, to give the team, it's a little less than a 2-week window to try to work out a deal with L.A. L.A.'s going to be aggressive. Rob Pelinka, Magic Johnson are planning to reach out to the Pelicans, try to find a pathway to a deal here. But they went through this last year with Kawhi Leonard. The Spurs weren't terribly enthusiastic to do a deal with L.A. L.A. knew they were going to have to probably greatly overpay to get him. It's probably the same case with Anthony Davis and the Pelicans right now.
Davis's career player efficiency rating, third best all time, behind only Michael Jordan and current Laker and perhaps future teammate LeBron James. Our teammate, Adrian Wojnarowski, with the insight on SportsCenter AM.
We dropped this news at 8 a.m. on a Monday on purpose.
It gives Magic basically the floor for the next 10 days with limited competition.
If you guys really want me, y'all got between now and the trade deadline to make it happen.
Well, really, Rich Paul and Anthony Davis now have all the leverage in the world to pick where they want to go.
I mean, this could be the most consequential NBA trade since Kareem to the Lakers.
Here they go again in New Orleans. In case you're not familiar with the history, a refresher. In the 03-04 season, Baron Davis led the NBA in steals. He was 4th in assists, 6th in scoring. Hornets were a team on the rise. Davis was a star, but he wanted to play in a bigger market. A year later, at 25, he was gone in a deadline day trade to the Warriors. Fast forward to 2011. All-star Chris Paul told the Hornets he wouldn't sign an extension. In December of that year, at 26, he was traded to the Clippers. Now another young all-star is ready to leave New Orleans. Anthony Davis, who's 25, tells the Pelicans he won't sign an extension and has requested a trade.
Drew, what do you think this franchise needs in order to be able to keep a player like Anthony Davis?
Couldn't tell you.
When you guys you don't even start to think about why someone would leave a situation. I mean, this would be the most expensive contract in NBA history.
Right. Again, I guess Anthony's leaving, so I don't know.
If you had won a few more games, Alvin, do you think that his attitude about what his future would have been any different? Talking to him?
See, you're asking me a question that only he can answer. I mean, I can't answer that question. You would have to ask him that question right there. I don't know.
Pelicans released a statement. It said this past weekend, Anthony Davis's representatives informed us that Anthony does not wish to sign a contract extension with our team and subsequently has requested a trade. Although we are disappointed in this decision, our organization's top priority is to bring an NBA championship to our city and fans and build our team for long-term success. Relative to specific talks of a trade, we will do this on our terms and our timeline, one that makes the most sense for our team, and it will not be dictated by those outside of our organization. We have also requested the league to strictly enforce the tampering rules associated with this transaction. Adrian Wojnarowski joins us now for more. So, Adrian, how did we get here, especially given the timing of this announcement?
Well, 10 days before the NBA trade deadline, it gives Anthony Davis and his agent, Rich Paul, the opportunity to get Davis moved to what is essentially their preferred destination right now with the Lakers. And the Pelicans now have to decide how they want to proceed here with the trade deadline looming on February 7th.
Okay, so they could be in a precarious position if they wind up waiting, because they'll have a player who's already said, I don't want to be here, and he'll sort of be a pariah in New Orleans. But it could work in their favor better by waiting because of the Celtics and their interest in Davis. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Boston can't trade for Anthony Davis as long as they have Kyrie Irving on the roster, the designated player exception, which is that each team's allowed to have one player with that. And so until Irving becomes a free agent on July 1 and then re-signs a deal in Boston or goes elsewhere, They can't get Davis onto their roster, but they can negotiate a trade at the end of the season, and they could have one in principle and then finalize it on July 1. So for New Orleans, because Boston has the most assets, the most draft picks, some really excellent young players, what I'm told is that New Orleans feels it would have to be absolutely blown away, overwhelmed with an offer from somebody to do it between now and the trade deadline when they can simply wait. Remember, Anthony Davis is still under contract through the 2019-20 season. They're not losing him this summer.
So is there potentially a blockbuster, knock their socks off offer that you see from the Lakers end?
Even the Lakers' best offer, and they have some fine young players. They can offer draft picks, whether it's Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, go down the list. The offer that would be there on February 6th or February 7th or any time between now and the trade deadline, I think New Orleans believes it's still going to be there this spring. So why not get the Celtics in the bidding? And so I think that's going to make it harder on the Lakers to find a way to pull off a Davis deal before the trade deadline.
All right, deadline just got a whole lot more interesting with Davis making the request, but the Pelicans holding the cards. Adrian, we appreciate the time and the information.
Thanks, Stan.
All right, Adrian's talking Pelicans, Lakers, Stan. Let's see if Bobby Marks, our NBA front office insider, has got a deal that'll knock your socks off. He says that this trade works right here. You got Davis and a couple supporting actors for Kuzma, Ingram, Hart, Caldwell Pope, and a first-round draft pick. And Pelicans are going to need to waive a player. So are you going to do that deal?
There's a name missing there.
Yeah?
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball.
You got to put Lonzo Ball in that deal.
If you're New Orleans, you got to have Lonzo Ball.
You got to have Lonzo. Even if you trade him away to somebody else, you got to have Lonzo Ball's piece.
Okay, I got
so Lonzo Ball, Ingram, Kuzma have to be a part of it. Put some other stuff in there too.
The man has spoken. All right, we got another one too. What about this one? Because of how they acquired Kyrie Irving, the Celtics have to include him in any Anthony Davis deal made at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, would you do Kyrie Irving and Jaylen Brown right now for Davis?
Throw in Jason Tatum so I know it's real.
This man drives a hard
Throw in
bargain.
Jason Tatum so I know it's real.
All right.
You know what I mean?
All right.
And then you can do it.
Let me tell you who's real, believe it or not. Brooklyn is real, man, all right?
Better than you think they are.
Yeah, exactly, man. They've been better than most everybody in its last 25 or so games. They got the Celtics with no Kyrie Irving, and this is going to be the Marcus Smart show early right there. Terry Rozier back to Smart. Celtics were up 13. Those guys got a night out. Parents let them out. Aaron Baines from Smart right there. C's up 6 after 1. Jaylen Brown to Smart, and at Eskimo Joe's, they're going crazy. And then Rozier kicks it out to Baines, who hits it. Coach Stevens on Baines and Smart.
Marcus Smart, Aaron Baines, particularly in the first half, really kind of carried you guys for stretches there.
Those are our Splash Brothers.
Yeah, not sure which one's Splish and which one's Splash. By the way, Kyrie Irving not participating. He had a hip injury, doesn't believe in.
Maybe they're preparing to trade him.
Oh, there you heard it first.
No, they're not.
D'Angelo Russell with 25 to lead Brooklyn in the loss. Celtics by 8.
All right, the Nuggets were so far down, it was almost time to just pull the starters and chalk it up as an L. But then something strange happened. A whole lot of strange stuff happened. It's coming up